we're back. The medics bring out Toma's body on a stretcher. I thought I'd only ever see a scene like this in movies. Part of me desperately wishes that this was only a nightmare, but... My little boy! Toma's mother rushes to the ambulance, trying to get a hold of her son's body, but her husband stops her before she does. She cries, her anguish ringing of undeniable truth. Toma's dead. I look over to Ray, who's still talking to the police. He looks fine now, but all at once I feel something creeping behind me. I see Subaru smoothing out the blanket he just laid over my shoulders. Stay warm. Why would I take it off? I smile at his simple gesture. Thanks, Subaru. Are you sure you're okay? It's tragic. Toma was my friend, too. I take his hand, squeezing it tightly. Yeah, and Ray needs our support now more than ever. I don't want anyone else to die. We'll make sure it doesn't happen. The conversation sparks hope in my heart, just as we see Ray coming towards us. Let's go. Huh? Go where? To the orphanage, of course. But that's... Are you sure that's a good idea right now? You might not look it, but this surely has taken a toll on you. You're upset and exhausted. It would be better to rest. I'm surprised to see Subaru so worried about someone else. We've definitely all forged a strong bond after all the struggles we've been through. I agree with Subaru. It's been a tough night, Ray. Maybe we should... We only have until sundown. We can't afford to waste time. It's clear that he's pushing himself to keep from breaking down. A mix of fury and anxiousness seeps out of him. We're going to the orphanage. Now. He frowns, walking briskly towards Toma's car. Toma's car. I run after him, worried. We should return the car, Ray. They gave it to me. What do you mean? His old man says they don't want the car anymore. I guess to Toma's parents, the car is only going to be a source of painful memories. It's still an expensive car, though, probably, right? Oh, boy. Maybe Ray explained that they were actually brothers when they were younger, and that's why they gave it to him. Ray swiftly enters the driver's seat and turns on the engine without a hitch. I can't think of anything else to say that might stop him, so I decide to go along. Subaru and I get into the car, knowing Ray is right. If we want to go back to our normal lives, we have to get out of the nightmare as soon as possible, even if things can't ever be normal again. Ray drives us to the orphanage. I catch glimpses of him from the rear view mirror. Ray. As soon as his name crosses my mind, his eyes suddenly shift across the planes of the mirror. He catches my reflection off guard. Catches my reflection off guard? Okay. Oh. How far away are we? I ask, trying to calm my rampaging heartbeat. Why would you even look this way? Look at the road. Risa. His eyes slowly turn back to the road, his hands steady on the steering wheel. Yes? You said the monster weakened after you regained your memories, right? Yes. Come to think of it, with a suddenly serious conversation, I lean closer towards the front seats. That obviously wasn't the case for Toma and Monica. I wonder why. Subaru stirs in his seat and folds his arms. Actually, the monster kept growing. I've been doing some thinking, so listen up. Ray steers the wheel to make a right turn, then he tells us his observations. Throughout our encounter, Toma kept rejecting the truth of his memories. That's the only difference I can think of between him and me. Ah. No, that's not true. I didn't kill anyone. You're right. The monster went berserk after he kept saying no. Wait a second. If that's true, then... Ray catches my reflection in the rearview mirror again, giving a slight nod. Toma caused his own death by not accepting the reality of the past. So not only do you have to remember, but you also have to accept your memories and overcome them. But I guess it's true. Ray and I are both still alive, and we overcame our past. And now we're here. So letting your past get the best of you means death? Yup. If that's really the case, then that's harsh. Overcoming your past isn't easy. The reason I was able to overcome it was because I realized I had all my friends from the orphanage. I realized that my past wasn't all pain and suffering, but Subaru and Lich's memories remain unknown. I pray that they realize that the past isn't all bad. The person responsible for this is him. It's not Lich. It's the asshole who was manipulating him. By him, of course, Ray means the man we know so little about. Images of father flashed through my mind. In my vision, he was kind. He didn't seem to be anything more than just a teacher at the orphanage. It seems like he collected some kids for the orphanage so he could conduct his experiments. That's awful. But why would he even do that? Maybe he had other plans for us. Rich people do a lot of shady things. And it's somewhat sickening toying with lives like this. But Licht... Ray's grip on the steering wheel tightens. I purse my lips and don't say anything more. Licht, just who are you? A boy who was manipulated and I assume put in a coma of some sort. So this father could be the owner of the orphanage. Most likely. Thinking back on it, I can't think of anything suspicious about him. He just seemed like a kind-hearted teacher. But let's hope we can find some hints at the orphanage. Yeah. Not too long after, Ray stops the car in front of a mossy gate. We step out of the car and gather the gate outside the gates. The structure is pretty much intact on the outside, but the inner structures seem to be hollowed out. I look up to see the signage rusting from years of neglect. Bluebells. My own voice sends a shiver down my spine. It's real. We're here. It looks even creepier than in the nightmare. Yeah, definitely eerie. Subaru? Subaru stands there frozen. Come on, we don't have all day. But Subaru stays glued to the ground, an insect hovering around him. Is that a bee? I hear murmurs, but I'm unsure where they're coming from, until I walk past Subaru, who's closing his eyes and mumbling. What? Go away, go away, go away. The bee circles around Subaru like a vulture. Oh, he has a fear. So do I. Don't tell me. The bee settles on... Nope. Is it gone? I gently sweep the bee off Subaru's hair. Subaru shivers slightly. He's like a little animal. After how dauntlessly he stood before the monster, seeing Subaru afraid of a bee like this is endearing. I can't help but giggle. What? Come on, quit fooling around. We're going. I've never seen him anxious like this before. We follow Ray through the gates of the orphanage. So, we walk cautiously around the overgrown grounds. You're afraid of bees, Subaru? Ray, who's in front of us, snickers. It's not that. Subaru sounds dejected. He must have been trying to keep it a secret. But why? Maybe he's allergic. A lot of people are afraid of bees. It's okay. But I didn't expect Subaru to be one of them. It's kind of cute in a way. You don't understand. Subaru covers his face with both hands and runs his hands through his hair in frustration. I got stung once. It's not as simple as being afraid of them. I think most people have been stung by something at some point. It's more like a phobia. Yeah, I get it. I have my phobias too. They suck. The paranoia just drives me crazy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Now I feel bad for making fun of him. You got pretty bad luck then. Story of my life. We drop the subject of Subaru's trauma. It's clear he doesn't want to talk about it further. We make our way across the yard, looking past the growing moss across the cobblestone pavement. It feels weird, doesn't it? It's like walking through actual history. That's true. We've seen this place at a lot of different times throughout history. Except for Subaru, who hasn't regained his memories yet. Subaru stops, turning his head towards the west wing. It would be easier if we knew what we're looking for. Anything that could help. Most importantly, something about that man called Father. We head towards the front door. The building is certainly in a dilapidated state, some parts of it threatening to collapse.
What if it suddenly caves in? I don't think we should go that way. I didn't expect you to be such a worrywart.
Subaru looks displeased, but he doesn't argue. I mean, finding another entrance isn't necessarily a bad idea, especially if this entrance really does look like it'll cave in. It doesn't hurt to be cautious, Ray. I agree with Subaru. It looks too dangerous.
Then stay behind. But I can't waste time doing nothing.
Ray's anxious too. Maybe Subaru decided not to argue because he knew there's no talking him out of this. We arrive in front of the door. Ray gets a hold of the doorknob. The creak is an eerie sound, and the webs decorating the entrance come into view. It looks like those haunted houses in amusement parks. Ray glares at me, and Subaru lets out a snicker.
Don't tell me you're going to start saying stupid things like that from now on.
Guess that was a little ditzy of me to say. Sorry, it's kinda unsettling getting used to being scared.
Ugh. You do know this is a haunted house. Watch your step.
Ray seems to step in seamlessly, prompting me to just go for it. But the moment I step in, the floor creaks. Ah!
Risa.
The floor beneath my foot collapses, swallowing my leg. Ow! That sounds like painful. Oh gosh! That was a shock. Subaru takes my hand and lifts me back up with ease. That really got me. Subaru comes to my aid, and I cling to him for dear life.
I got you. Be careful now.
As my heart beats on a rampage, Subaru rubs my back to help me relax. Thanks. I take a few deep breaths until I'm able to stand up straight again. Subaru lets me go, but he doesn't leave my side, even as we brave these ruins.
There's nothing here.
We stare at the vast expanse of the rundown orphanage.
We'll have to go up then.
Ray looks up, eyeing the stairs leading to the second floor. What was that? We're distracted by the sound of giggling children. Wait, why? We're not in the nightmare world. The sound's coming from
straight ahead. Let's go.
Wait, Ray! Ray sprints off, and Subaru and I follow right behind him. Why would he suddenly take off like that on his own? I try to chase after him as best I can, but there's no way I'll catch up with him. He disappears into the darkness. Oh no. Just as we're about to move forward again, my foot gets caught on something. Ah!
Risa.
Subaru grabs my hand before I can trip.
Careful.
Thanks. I'm such a klutz. Where's Ray? Subaru looks around and shakes his head. Subaru, what should we do? Subaru has a troubled expression on his face. That's right, Subaru hasn't regained his memories. Even if my childhood memories are a little fuzzy, I have to be strong. Let's continue forward. Subaru nods and we walk on. After a little while, we come across a partially opened door. If I remember correctly, the atrium was over this way. Atrium.
The door's open. Ray might be in there.
What used to be the atrium has been reclaimed by nature and has basically been turned into a forest. It doesn't look that way. It looks very fresh and neat. We decide to go further into the place, hoping to find Ray. We've been walking for quite a while now, but there's still no sign of him. What was Ray thinking? I can't believe he just ran off like that. I know how he feels, but
he's surprisingly impulsive, huh?
Right? He's always seemed more logical than that. But I guess pain changes people. I wonder why we could hear a child's voice even though we're still in the real world. It's creepy.
It's possible that the two worlds are starting to merge.
What do you mean?
I mean that if we don't find a way to escape, we might lose track of which is which. It's just a theory. Either that or our psyche has taken a hit.
That's true. Whether we're awake or asleep, we're conscious either way. I'm worried. I hope Ray's okay. I continue walking, my thoughts fixed on Ray. He'll be okay, right, Subaru? Subaru doesn't respond. Instead, he looks down with his mouth hanging open. Subaru? What's wrong? Are you okay? Subaru's not showing it, but I wonder if he's exhausted mentally. I lift my hand to reach for his shoulder, but he catches my wrists in midair, his grip like a vice. It surprises me for a moment, especially as he turns to look at me with a serious expression.
You're worried about Ray?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He ran off on his own. It's only natural to be worried about a friend like that. Don't be jealous. This isn't the time.
Do you like Ray that much?
What? Before I can react, Subaru pulls my hand towards his chest. This really isn't the time for jealousy. He just lost his brother, and he is our friend after all. Subaru. My curled fingers slowly lay flat as he pushes my palm against his chest. His heart beats faintly under my touch. He's so warm. The rhythmic beating of his heart is soothing.
Do you feel that?
Why are you acting like this all of a sudden? Tired? Subaru shakes his head.
It hurts.
Oh no, you're injured. We have to. His fingers release my wrist to glide across my skin, pressing my hands against his chest. You know, this really isn't the time for this.
Why does it hurt, Risa?
He looks at me, troubled, eyes wavering under the shadow of his hair.
Why does it hurt when you talk about other guys?
Is this jealousy?
I've never felt like this before. I can feel my heart throb when I think about you. When you smile, I feel happy too. I've never really cared about much, but I care about you.
Aww. He's confessing his feelings without even realizing it. And this really isn't the time or place. It's clearly the first time he's felt this way, and he's struggling. I feel my heart start to race.
I feel like I want to know everything about you, but when I hear you talk about other guys, I want to cover my ears.
But he's our friend, and he's in danger.
I want to keep you all to myself so that you'll look at me and only me.
That's, really, that's too controlling. Check yourself, buddy.
I hate myself for feeling this way. What's happening to me? How can I stop the pain?
Realize what's happening, and then acknowledge the issues surrounding the jealousy, and then deal with it so that you don't feel so jealous, and realize that we're talking about our friends here, you know. Subaru turns his pained gaze to me, his misty eyes are more than a little attractive. What do I do? Why not? My feelings for Subaru. I take a step towards him and stand on my toes so I can reach him, and I give him a brief yet gentle kiss. Subaru's eyes go wide and he looks at me. I like you, Subaru. I like you so much. You're so beautiful. Subaru drops his hand, setting me free to drape my arms over his shoulder. I pull him by the neck, standing on my toes. Before he can finish, I kiss him again. His lips quiver for a moment, and I pull away gently. Oh, Subaru hangs his head, blushing. He looks so adorable. I can't help but smile. I can't believe you're jealous.
So this is jealousy.
He says it as if he's still trying to digest this strange new feeling. He then turns away, but gives me a sidelong glance.
You always go on about Ray and Lift. How do you think that makes me feel?
Well, they're my friends for once. For one. They're our friends. It's normal to be worried about them. But you're the only one I like. Subaru purses his lips together, now looking as red as a tomato. Oh, he's so cute. I want to tease him a little more, but I think he's had more than he can take today. Did that help with the pain? He pouts.
I feel
his hands pulling me by the waist.
My heart still aches a bit.
His lips fall into mine in another kiss. No longer embarrassed, Subaru takes the reins, deepening the kiss he was so shy about earlier. His lips are so soft.
Risa.
He calls my name, taking the opportunity. We're making out now. I feel myself melt in his arms just as he steers my body with his passionate touch. We don't find Ray and decide to go back to where we were before. But he might be in trouble. As we exit the jungle-like atrium, the main hall greets us with a haunting silhouette, the sun setting low behind it.
We're right back where we started.
Oh, I can't believe we came all this way for nothing. I stomped my foot on the ground, letting out a fit of frustration. Wandering through that maze was nothing but a waste of time. Subaru scratches his head, sighing.
We still have time.
I bite my lip, embarrassed that I lost my temper all of a sudden. Subaru snickers. Sorry, it's not like me to just explode like that.
You're cute when you get angry, though.
Oh, please.
Yeah, just like that.
I pout, refusing to look at him.
But I don't think you're really angry. You're just really worried that we didn't find Ray.
Well, I am worried, but I blush as I think to what happened earlier. Subaru continues onward. It's almost like he's forgotten about it already.
Let's check the other areas.
Oh. Suddenly we're in a terrifying place. With no luck trying to locate Ray, we end up at the entrance to the underground passage. The echoes of our footsteps are the only sound. The chilly air makes me shiver. In the nightmare world, we found licht for the first time in one of these rooms, right?
Yeah, that room over there.
We try to open the door. No good. Looks like we need a passcode.
A dead end, huh? Let's check elsewhere.
We resume our search. As we continue on our way, I'm struck by an overpowering scent of what smells like rusted metal. The smell reminds me of Toma's death, and I can't help but gag.
Risa, look.
There's a large bloodstain in the old hallway. Next to it is a partially wilted bouquet of flowers.
The blood's dry, but it's relatively fresh. Given how big this puddle is, I doubt whoever it came from is still with us.
Who could have done this? I turn to see a name tag on the floor, and I decide to pick it up. It has the name Silas Ackerman written on it. I feel like I've heard this name somewhere before, but where? As I'm caught up in my thoughts, I suddenly hear Ray's voice from behind.
Finally, I found you. Where were you?
Subaru's tone is icy. Is he angry?
Did you at least find anything useful after you ran off on your own like an idiot?
Ray narrows his eyes in reply, panting heavily.
Sorry.
Ray looks like he regrets what he did. Well, this is rare. Ray, I understand that you're anxious, but we have to stay calm. Slow and steady wins the race, right?
Yeah, you're right. Don't go off on your own next time. We're all in this together, aren't we?
Ray's eyes widen in surprise, clearly not expecting those words. Then he grins.
You sure got some guts to tell me that.
Subaru scoffs silently as if trying to challenge him. Is this some sort of unspoken friendship between guys? What? At least I know they don't hate each other. I smile, thinking to myself.
What did you find then?
Ray examines the flowers and the bloodstain.
Silas Ackerman? If I remember correctly, that's father's name.
Huh, I guess his name was something like that. I never really gave him much thought about his name when I was a child.
Could he have been killed here?
I'm wondering. Maybe Licht eventually killed him, and then went into some coma thingy, and developed the dream world and lost his memories in the dream world. Maybe he's the one who started this whole thing, without realizing what he was actually starting.
Judging from the amount of blood, that's almost certainly the case.
I guess that means we're not getting information out of him.
You're right about that.
We talk about our next step as we walk towards the gate, the sun almost gone from the skies.
We'll have to access the old archives to find.
Ray stops in his tracks, and so do we. Just between us and the entrance, a vision appears. 6 children are having fun in the playground. It's all of us, even Monica and Toma. The younger versions of ourselves are picture perfect, happy, and without a care in the world. Feelings of helplessness take over my mind. I glance beside me and see Ray clenching his fists. I guess he feels the same way. Or is he mad at himself for wasting a whole day? Ray. I know he's trying to act like nothing happened, but he can't deny it. Toma's passing is too much for him to handle.
Let's go.
We continue our search until the last possible minute before leaving the building.
Lock the doors and windows.
We find ourselves back in the car. At least here we can protect ourselves better. The blue-tinted light of the crescent moon lights the sky. It's like death is smiling on us, waiting for its next victim. All right, let's see what happens tonight. We used to do everything we could to try to prevent ourselves from falling into the nightmare world. Now here we are, waiting patiently for 10 p.m. to come. We can't fight it, we just have to accept it. This nightmare, and also our past. It isn't long before the bell rings. I just realized I forgot to turn up the audio. Whoops. I did all of that without any music. Oh well. Next episode will have audio for sure. Until then...